My name is Alex Askaroff and I grew up in the sewing industry. I have my sewalot.com site which has all the history of the old sewing machines, and I've written many books about sewing machines which you can find on Amazon. But I thought today I would show you how to repair, set and service a toy sewing machine. Now there's lots of toy sewing machines, but the most popular toy sewing machine by far was the Singer Model 20. Now if you come in and have a look at some of these machines, they all basically look different but are very similar. Now the key thing is this little tension device at the top. Now if you look at this 1950s Essex miniature, you'll see that it has almost exactly the same as a much earlier Singer 20 and the later So Handy. So it doesn't matter what model we're working on, you'll see great differences. Now this is the Singer 40K. Now that's a completely different kettle of fish altogether, so there are differences, but these are the main body that we're going to show you. Now look at this. I can tell you at a glance why this stopped working. This is the tension spring, and someone in its history has put it on upside down. From that second it would never work again. Now I found this in a barn when I was fixing a machine, and I saw it on the shelf. I was doing an industrial machine and I saw it on the shelf, and I offered the woman £5 for it. She just took it. So we're going to show you how to clean it first. So we're going to take this one, because this is a rusty squeaky, look, get a close up of this. This is a rusty squeaky, hang on, I'll put it under the light. And it hardly turns, and we're going to, oh, it's locked there, and we're going to try and get that one working. So that's the first. Best way to clean up surface rust like this is basically a little multi-tool. I use a Dremel with an extra handle, and I use all these little wire brushes of assorted sizes and everything. So I've got brass ones and steel ones depending on what I'm going to do. But always, if you're using wire brushes like this in a tool, wear a really good mask. I use an FFP3 mask and eye protection, because the little bits of metal fly everywhere, and I roll my sleeves up because they go everywhere. Right, let's get started. Done all the dirty work of the wire wheel cleaning, and now I'm going to show you oiling your toy sewing machine. So this is actually very straightforward, and what we're going to do is get me little oil can, you know, the one with the clear spout so we can see, and we're going to put a drop of oil. You can hear it, look, still got that horrible squeaky noise, but a bit more shiny now. And we're going to put a drop of oil on every moving part. The needle bar is so essential, the little pivot underneath. Anywhere that it moves, you can always wipe the excess oil off, so you don't worry about over oiling it. And I always use a high quality sewing machine oil. You can use gun oil, but the high quality stainless mineral oil sewing machine oil is by far the best, and you can get it available just about everywhere. And it's really important when you're cleaning with the wire brushes and everything. I mean, some people can do it 30 minutes. Like me, I'll spend 3 hours. But you'll get this part here, the hook part has to be exceptionally clean, because that's where the thread is going to be sliding around. I'll show you that in a minute. And also oil the presser foot here, because every single stitch, the presser foot moves up and down with the feed. Can you just see it there? So it's really important that the presser foot is oiled as well, which people don't realise. So it's starting to go, look, and we'll find that little squeak. I always love it when you get the right spot and that squeak suddenly disappears. Oh, look, there we go. It's got, oh, and it's starting to feel really nice now. Look at that. Uh-oh. Now, this is the girl coming back to life. So now we're going to set the sewing machine. The Singer 20 was the longest running toy sewing machine of all time. It ran from the 20s right up to the last Turkish genuine Singer machines, but made in Turkey in the 70s. Now, most of them take a 24x1 needle, which is pretty much the same as a normal domestic needle, but shorter. And you put the flat side to the inside, so the flat side to the inside. 24x1 needles are pretty available. You can get them off eBay or anything. First thing to do with setting the machine is make sure this little tension plate goes up and down as the needle bar comes to its top point. It must just release the thread from its pinch. So you see that if that's not pinching and releasing, then you need to adjust that. Be careful adjusting it because it's spring steel and you can snap it. So you can adjust it via that screw, by the whole chassis you can bend a little bit, or you can manipulate that. Now I always put a little bit of felt on there, and I put a bit of cotton on there, and lucky enough with this machine it's all numbered, so we're going to start at number 1, go through number 1 to number 2. That's a tricky bit with my old eyes. Come on there baby, there we go. Then we go underneath the tension plate for number 3, and then we go round, pull it straight, and then we go round the tension unit. It's a bit awkward to see this, and then we go underneath, get my tweezers, and we go up through. It's not very smart using dark thread actually, I just realised that. And we go up through the hole there, and then we go up to the needle bar through there. This is all very fiddly. And then from the needle bar, lift it up to its highest point so it releases that spring. Then you've got thread, and then straight through. Now cut the thread at a slight angle so it's going to go through the needle easier. Use a torch. It's always the most tricky thing, threading the needle. Sometimes we're lucky and it goes straight through. Sometimes with these flicky old cons, there we go, that's through. And now we're going to give it a go. This is so exciting. It's always the best, all your hours of work. Now, is it going to pay off? This is the interesting thing. Lift the foot up, put it under there. I always put the thread underneath the foot as well, so that traps the thread so it can't go anywhere. And now we are ready to sew. I've got the tension just wound a few turns in, so it's got a little bit of tension on there, and we are going to sew. Here we go, here we go. Ah, now it's working. I can see it's too tight because it's just puckering the felt a bit, but it is stitching. Now this is interesting. That stitch is way too tight, so I'm going to back that off to right to the end of the adjustment there. Turn it around and come back and see what we've got now. And we're going to see, now you can see it's laying much flatter in the fabric, so we're going to turn it over and examine the stitch. So here you can see a little bit too loose, so we're just going to tighten it up a little bit, and then from then on it's just a matter of running it in. And now the more you use it, the better it's going to get every single stitch. And there's only 2 adjustments on this machine. You can see how smooth it's getting already. You've got the length of stitch lever here, bigger or smaller, and you've got the tension adjustment there, and by balancing those 2 you'll get a perfect stitch. From now on, the more you use the machine, the smoother it will get. The thread will polish all the guides and it will get better and better, and it will resurrect. I can actually show you If you come round this side, I'll hold it up to the light and then you can see how the stitch is formed. Now I'm going to turn that round, and I don't even get right up on the hook. You can see the hook coming round, picking the stitch up, and this is what Edward Allen Gibb invented way back in the middle of the Victorian era, and he carved his first hook out of a bit of burnt mountain ivy root and made his first machine. Well, that's the legend anyway. But look at this, how smooth that's getting. That's why you can't have any corrosion underneath there, and I go into a lot of detail about this on the Sew A Lot site, a lot of my machines and a lot of history. And don't forget, go on to Amazon for my books. I hope you've enjoyed that. Bye for now.